Right, if we look at the fundamental characteristics of cloud computing, what do they offer? Well, the cloud offers scalability of resources. The cloud offers a new business model where SMEs or SMBs, for example, no longer have to fork off with a big sum of money upfront in order to do something. Now they can actually pay through. Depending on the work that is being done, then they can start to pay along the way as they go. So this certainly presents a very interesting business model and paradigm for small to medium-sized enterprises. Scalability of resources, and for the first time, they've got the flexibility and the mileage to compete with the big guns. Of course, having said that, I'm sure that SMBs are facing in no less range of problems that the large organizations are facing, in fact, possibly more. For example, when such a major decision comes up as to whether they're going to leverage on cloud computing or not, they have to start evaluating some of the cloud providers, right? And obviously, it would be difficult to expect SMBs have all the resources in terms of technical skills, as well as the budget and the time to seriously evaluate all these providers. And secondly, again, if you start thinking about the legal area, about the compliance of data, about data privacy, about service level agreement, then once again, I think SMBs would be, operating at a high risk because they just don't have the capacity nor the in-depth knowledge to seriously evaluate those contractual agreements. And in addition, as I said, SMBs also confronting a whole range of problems that similar to large organizations confront, and these are compliance, as well as the in-house ability to monitor the vendors, monitor the cloud performance, and all these things and more complicate the serious decision to go cloud for SMB. Well, I think a general rule of thumb would be to look at what sort of critical and non-critical systems that you are operating, and whether some of the data that's involved are highly sensitive or not. So common sense led us to believe that you will start thinking about simple operations, down-to-earth ones that are non-core applications that does not touch on a whole lot of seriously private data. Then you may consider firing off those as your first wave of cloud applications, and then see what sort of experience that you gain, and then seriously evaluate the next step and so on. I believe so. There are a number of areas that shed very promising gains for SMBs. For example, the first area is on business process management. And this is an area where traditionally SMBs do not have the capacity, the skills, nor the know-how to evaluate, to purchase, to procure all those expensive BPMS in order to configure them to run smoothly and efficiently for the enterprise. But come with the cloud-based BPM models, then they can actually rely on the cloud providers, orchestrate these processes as they dynamically required, put them together, and put all sorts of performance measures and metrics around them. So for the first time, they are able to compete with the big guns in terms of the intellectual horsepower, backed up by the scalability of the resources. Another area which I believe SMBs can also compete, and compete seriously, is in the area of putting together, for example, virtual machines. And there are beta sites in the US already where small to medium-sized firms can put together beta machines representing some kind of manipulations on their business model and the business offerings. And these virtual machines can be put on the shelf in the cloud providers, so that other people can start using these resources. And if they turn out to be being used by some other providers, then they will generate income, a new source of income indeed for SMBs.